Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So this one is going to be relatively quick. I'm fixing dinner and I had time, so I wanted to do this story. Let me make sure I am up and make sure audio is doing what audio is supposed to be doing. Mic, right. My mic sounds nice. Check one. Alright, good. Good. So I saw the story, I think, yesterday, and I wanted to do the story, and I just didn't get a chance to do the story. So it's 12:21 in the morning. Fuck it, I'm doing it now. I read this, and I thought to myself, look, let me say it this way. They found there was an informant, an FBI informant. I did the story once before. This was a while ago, though. There was an FBI informant in the Uranium One case. That FBI informant was under a gag order by Loretta Lynch to shut up, meaning the person couldn't say anything about the case. Well, that gag order has been removed, and he is singing. He is singing some interesting tunes. One of those tunes is that Moscow, was trying to dump a bunch of money into the Clinton Foundation. Now, the only reason they would do this is to try to get influence. They called it the dominance, or the uranium dominance strategy. Let's take a look at this. Zero Hedge always does fantastic fucking work, so let's go to Zero Hedge and just read it. FBI informant testifies Moscow routed millions to Clinton Foundation and Russian uranium dominance strategy. Tyler Durbin. Undercover FBI informant William Campbell has given written testimony to congressional investigators after an ironclad gag order was lifted in October. Campbell was a highly valued CIA and FBI asset deeply embedded in the Russian nuclear industry, while Robert Mueller was the district director of the FBI. Campbell was required by Russians under threat to launder large sums of money, which allowed the FBI to uncover a massive Russian nuclear laundering apparatus. What is this? Let's mute the site, just in case. He collected over 5,000 documents and briefs over a 6-year period, some of which detail efforts by Moscow to route money to the Clinton Foundation. Campbell claims to have video evidence of bribe money related to the Uranium One deal being stuffed into suitcases. The Obama FBI knew about the bribery scheme, yet the administration still approved the Uranium One deal. To thank him for his service, Campbell was paid $51,000 by the FBI officials at a 2016 celebration dinner in Crystal City. When it emerged that Campbell had evidence against the Clinton Foundation, a Yahoo News article by Michael Isikoff, a hack, slammed Campbell as a disaster potential witness. Oh, he's a disaster. He's a disaster. He has evidence on Hillary Clinton. He's a disaster. Or he has evidence on the Clinton Foundation. An undercover FBI informant embedded in the Russian nuclear industry who was made to sign an illegal NDA by former Attorney General Loretta Lynch has finally given his testimony to 3 congressional committees. William D. Campbell became an FBI counterintelligence asset after spending several years as a CIA operative who developed working relationships in the nuclear industry in Kazakhstan and Russia. For several years, my relationship with the CIA consisted of being debriefed after foreign travel. Campbell noted in his testimony, which was obtained by the reporter, gradually, the relationship evolved into the CIA tasking me to travel to specific countries to obtain specific information. In the 1990s, I developed a working relationship with Kazakhstan and Russia and their nuclear energy industries. When I told the CIA of this development, I was turned over to the FBI counterintelligence agency. Where is it? There we are. The FBI embedded Campbell in the Russian nuclear industry for 6 years, where he gathered extensive evidence of 2 separate but related pay-for-play schemes related to the United States uranium industry. First, Campbell discovered that Moscow had compromised an American uranium trucking firm, Transport Logistics International, in violation of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which bribed a Russian nuclear official in exchange for a contract to transport Russia mined United States uranium, including yellowcake uranium, secured in the Uranium One Deal. Second, Campbell says the Russian nuclear official told him of his scheme to route millions of dollars to the Clinton Global Initiative through lobbying firm ARPCO, which was expected to funnel a portion of its annual $3 million lobbying fee to the charity. The contract called for 4 payments of $750,000 over 12 months. APCO was expected to give assistance free of charge to to the Clinton Global Initiative as part of their efforts to create a favorable environment to ensure the Obama administration made affirmative decisions on everything from Uranium One to the United States-Russian Civilian Nuclear Cooperation Agreement. Wow! That is a bombshell. That is a bombshell. That's a bombshell. If that's true and he has evidence of that, that is a bombshell. You're effectively saying that the Clinton administration, man, I've heard somebody say before that the Clintons tar everything that they touch. And if this is right, this is open air bribery. And you have Loretta Lynch silencing this guy illegally, shutting this guy up illegally with an NDA, meaning he couldn't open his mouth. Do you understand that if Hillary Clinton won this election, this guy would have never heard from him? This would have never came up. The only reason you're hearing about this is because Republicans, for the most part, want to take a shot at anything that's Clinton related, but Democrats as a whole. But it just so happens you found a guy embedded into the FBI that could come out and say, yes, they were being bribed. The money that Bill Clinton got that looked like a bribe was, in fact, a bribe. And however bad you thought it is worse. It is worse. Let's keep going. That's amazing. That's a fucking bombshell, though. Campbell told congressional investigators that the Uranium One deal, along with billions in other uranium contracts inside the United States during the Obama administration, was part of a Russian uranium dominant strategy involving Tenex and its American arm, Tenem, both subsidiaries of state-owned Russian energy companies, Rosneft. The emails and documents I intercepted during 2010 made clear that Rosneft's purchase of Uranium One for both its Kazakh and American assets was part of Russia's geopolitical strategy to gain leverage in global energy markets. He testified, I obtained documentary proof that Tenex was helping Rosneft win CFIUS approval, including October 6, 2010 email asking me specifically to help overcome opposition to the Uranium One deal. Rosneft Tenex threw a party to celebrate, which was widely attended by American nuclear industry officials. At the request of the FBI, I attended and recorded video footage of Tenem's new offices, he added. Officials with APCO, the lobbying firm accused of funneling the money to the Clinton Global Initiative, told The Hill that its support for the Clinton Global Initiative and its work for Russia were not connected in any way and involved different divisions of the firm. Yes, they're giving us money, but the money that they're giving us in this hand is not related to the other hand. Okay. Sounds like you're being bribed, but okay. Bribery scheme. While undercover, the Russians forced Campbell to deliver bribes from Maryland Transportation Company, TLI, in $50,000 increments to Russian nuclear official Vadim Mikurin of Tenex. Campbell did so under the direction of the FBI in order to maintain his cover, fronting hundreds of thousands of dollars, he says, he was never reimbursed for. As a result of Campbell's work, TLI co-president Mark Lambert was charged with an 11-count indictment in connection with the scheme, while Vadim Mikurin, who resides in Maryland, was prosecuted in 2015 and is halfway through a 4-year sentence. Beginning at least as early as 2009 and continuing until October 2014, Lambert conspired with others at Transport Corporation A to make corrupt and fraudulent bribery and kickback payments to offshore bank accounts associated with shell companies at the direction of and for advantages and obtain and retain businesses with Tenex, Department of Justice. Let me say that again. Beginning as early as 2009 and continuing until October 2014, Lambert conspired with others at Transportation Corporation A to make corrupt and fraudulent bribery and kickback payments to offshore bank accounts associated with shell companies at the direction of and for advantages and obtain and retain businesses with Tenex, DOJ, or Department of Justice. Of note, Rod Rosenstein failed to interview Campbell before prosecuting Vadim Mikurin when Rosenstein was Maryland chief federal prosecutor, instead relying on evidence Campbell had gathered. This backfired after prosecutors insisted on sitting down with Campbell to glean more information, forcing prosecutors to recast their entire case against Mikurin. Campbell got one debriefing after the criminal charges were filed, but was never brought before a grand jury that indicted the Russian figure in November 2014, even though the informer was portrayed as victim one in the indictment, the officials confirmed. when prosecutors finally interviewed Campbell more extensively in early 2015 and reviewed all of the records he had gathered for the FBI, they learned new information about the sequence of transactions he conducted while under FBI supervision, as well as the extensive nature of his counterintelligence work for the United States government that went far beyond Mickerin case and dated to at least 2006, the official said. Meaning this guy was a spy for the FBI going back for years. 6 years. Uranium One approval. This is the interesting part. Now, if you're telling me, if I'm reading this right, and you're saying that the Russians were trying to give all of this money to Hillary Clinton and to Clinton Global Initiative, and they're trying to give this money to the Clinton Global Initiative, the deal was, we will see to it that this is confirmed, that we'll get over the red tape, providing this money is coming in to the back door. That is a bombshell. That is a fucking bombshell. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. An extremely important aspect of Campbell's timeline is that the Obama administration, headed by Robert Mueller, knew of the bribery scheme with the transportation company before approving Uranium One Deal, which would have utilized TLI for transporting the mined uranium. The Russians were compromising American contractors in the nuclear industry with kickbacks and extortion threats, all of which raised legitimate national security concerns. And none of that evidence got aired before the Obama administration made those decisions. A person who worked on the case told The Hill, speaking on condition of anonymity for fear of retribution by the United States or Russian officials. Thus, the Uranium One Deal clearly never should have been approved. Okay, so this sounds something different. This sounds like the guy saying, this stuff was never really given to the Obama administration to even see, even though elements of the FBI knew that this deal was massively corrupt and knew that this guy was in there as their mole. That's bizarre, man. How can they not know that? You could say it was a fuck up. You could say to some degree it might have been incompetence. You could say that the mole was in and he just didn't communicate in the right way. You could say the guy's lying in the Hill, that Obama knew about this and for whatever reason allowed it to go through. There's no way to know. If you take their word for it, it just wasn't aired before the Obama administration and somebody approved it. The Uranium One Deal clearly should have never been approved. The Obama administration approved it. They're saying that this information wasn't aired before the administration, before they approved the deal. Let's keep going. Early on, it sounded like they were saying something else. But let's keep going. In fact, I want to see that first part, because it does sound like they're saying something different. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, here we are. The contract called for 4 payments of $750,000 over 12 months. APCO was expected to give assistance free of charge to the Clinton Global Initiative as part of their efforts to create a favorable environment to ensure the Obama administration made affirmative decisions on everything from Uranium One to the United States-Russian Civilian Nuclear Cooperation Agreement. Am I crazy, or is that mind-blowing? That's... That line should put somebody in prison. That line should put somebody in prison. If he is right, somebody needs to go to prison for this. The contract called for 4 payments of $750,000 over 12 months. APCO was expected to give assistance free of charge to the Clinton Global Initiative as part of their efforts to create a favorable environment to ensure the Obama administration made affirmative decisions on everything from Uranium One to the United States-Russian Civilian Nuclear Cooperation Agreement. That's bribery. Literally, bribery. They're giving a ton of money to make sure that the Obama administration... Now look, this goes beyond Clinton. This is kind of the point I'm making. This is wrapping in the Obama administration into this also, whether the Obama administration was part of this or not. According to this, to make sure that the Obama administration had a favorable environment, as long as you're paying us. As long as you're paying us. But understand why you're paying us. You're paying us to make sure that the stuff that you want to go through goes through. Wow. That is mind-blowing. That has to be the most mind-blowing part of this article. Let me keep going. We'll go to the bottom of the deal itself. Let's see. Come on. I'm sorry, this thing is zero hedge for whatever reason. The site tends to be behave weirdly. Let's just say it that way. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Alright, so we read that part. We read that part. I want to see how they confirmed it. Okay, that's the bribery scheme. We went through that part. They did convict somebody on this. Come on, come on, come on. Why is this page so slow? Okay, here we are. This guy has literally been a spy for the last 6 years. That is amazing. Alright. The Russians were compromising American contractors in the nuclear industry with kickbacks and extortion threats, all of which raised legitimate national security concerns. And none of that evidence got aired before the Obama administration made those decisions. That's the part that I'm missing, right? So, assume for the moment that Campbell is right. Like, assume that he's not lying. Assume that he doesn't have a dog in the hunt. Assume that he's being honest. How would he have the authority to say that the Obama administration itself would, like, these things would be favorable to the Obama administration? I mean, they would assume that the Obama administration has a part in this. But that doesn't really make sense. Obama is not getting money in this. Clinton is getting money in this, meaning that money is going into the Clinton Global Initiative. It makes more sense that the State Department is the aspect that's favorable to this. Yeah, this is a little weird, man. Let's keep going. But according to this, Obama didn't know anything about it. So this wasn't aired before the Obama administration. The Uranium One Deal clearly should never have been approved. No shit, Sherlock. Praising Campbell. Campbell testified at the FBI thanks for his undercover with a check for $51,000 in 2010, which according to November report was given to him at the 2016 celebration dinner in Crystal City, Virginia, according to Campbell's attorney. My FBI handlers praised my work, testified Campbell. They told me on various occasions that details from my undercover probe had been briefed directly to FBI top officials. On 2 occasions, my handlers were particularly excited, claiming that my undercover work had been briefed to President Obama as part of his daily presidential briefing, he testified. Following reports that by Sanj Solomon of The Hill and Sarah Carter of Circle News revealing that Campbell had gathered evidence implicating Clinton's charity and the Obama administration, Michael Isikoff of Yahoo News wrote an article slamming Campbell, saying he would be a disaster as a witness because some of his claims could not be documented. An anonymous source told Isikoff. So essentially, it comes out that this guy, who was an FBI informant for 6 years, was very clear in the evidence that he was given. Now, understand something that's interesting that you need to pay attention to. The undocumented dossier, the PP dossier, they had on Donald Trump, that was unverified. They took that purely on the word of the person who was there because that person apparently had some kind of interaction with the FBI before and ended up being solid. This guy has 6 years of giving solid evidence to the FBI, being somewhat of a star witness, even some of this information being briefed to the president himself. Why isn't he a solid witness, though? Michael Isikoff is attacking this guy. Why is Michael Isikoff all of a sudden attacking this guy? Do Michael Isikoff even know this guy? He's attacking this guy. He's attacking this guy purely because this guy has evidence that indicts people that he associates with, meaning his buddies, the Democratic Party. He's a hack. He's a hack. This guy is saying the President of the United States and the Secretary of State is monetizing their offices, and that I have proof showing that they monetize their office. Why isn't the information of saying, whoa, show the proof? Show the proof. As opposed to writing a hit piece when you find out that the guy has evidence implicating people that you actually like. I mean, come on. Be honest. It seems like the most natural response is, what's the proof? Show the proof. Show what you got. Show what you got. If you're monetizing the office of the presidency, that's a big fucking deal. Another Yahoo News article written by Isikoff was used by the FBI as supporting evidence in a FISA warrant application by FBI against one-time Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. Isikoff used information provided by the former UK spy Christopher Steele, who was assembled on an infamous and unverified anti-Trump dossier, which FISA application was largely based on. So understand what's being said. This guy, and I hadn't even read this part, this guy is a solid agent. He's been with the FBI for God knows how long. A PP dossier, an unverified PP dossier was enough to get a FISA warrant. But they're trying to smear the guy who has all of this experience with the FBI and who has been solid with the FBI. Why is it all of a sudden that this witness, his word is not enough, but the word of some unverified person is enough in order to implicate Donald Trump in some kind of crime? Isikoff said he was stunned to learn that this article was cited in the FISA warrant. We believe him. Yeah, you should be stunned. You essentially got your information from nearly the same source. The sources were somewhat connected. So it wasn't like, I guess what I'm saying is, the information that they was using PP dossier, it was unverified, largely unverified. They still used it. They used it because they said, well, the guy who gave it to us was solid in some other situations. Isikoff said he was stunned to learn that his article was cited in the FISA warrant. We, quote-unquote, believe him. Sessions and Rosenstein were running interference. And in a move which can only be interpreted as an effort to protect the FBI, the Obama administration and Clinton's Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein even tried to suggest the nuclear bribery case uncovered by Campbell is not connected to the Uranium One Deal. Covering their ass. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, in testimony last week, and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, in a letter to Senate last month, tried to suggest there were no connection between Uranium One and the nuclear bribery case. Their argument was that criminal charges weren't filed until 2014, while the Committee of Foreign Investment in the United States approval of the Uranium One sale occurred in 2010. This rubs several congressional GOP the wrong way. I would imagine so. Many of them want to put Hillary Clinton in prison. So yeah, I would think so. Attorney General Jeff Sessions seems to say that the bribery, racketeering, and money laundering offenses involving Tenex's Vadim Mikarin occurred after the approval of the Uranium One deal by the Obama administration. But we know that the FBI's confidential informant was actively compiling incriminating evidence as far back as 2009. Representative Ron DeSantis told The Hill, adding, "It is hard to fathom how such a transaction could have been approved without the existence of the underlying corruption being disclosed." Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley sent a similar rebuke to Rosenstein, saying that the Deputy Attorney General's first response to the committee largely missed the point of the congressional investigations. I'm not going to be able to read all this because I imagine this thing is really long. Astropolitics. When Campbell asked the FBI why all the illegal schemes he uncovered weren't being prosecuted, he was explicitly told it was political. I remember one response I got from an agent when I asked how come it was possible that CFIUS would approve the Uranium One sale when the FBI could prove Ronstam was engaged in criminal conduct. His answer, "Ask your politics," Campbell said. Since his undercover work in Russia, Campbell has since undergone 35 intensive radiation treatments after being diagnosed with brain cancer and leukemia. Something strange is going on in the financial expert cash. Oh, this is something different. Okay, that's a different story. Look, what it boils down to, and this is going to be in the bottom, is that this guy, they tried to shut the guy up. Now the guy can talk. And the things that he's saying is essentially, look, there was criminality all over the place, and they knew about this criminality. And the reason why they didn't prosecute everybody, meaning I was bribing the Clintons. And I have evidence that I was bribing the Clintons. And the reason I was giving them this money was to make, essentially, make it more favorable that these deals got passed. This guy is a bombshell if this guy is true. Meaning, if what he's saying checks out to be true, this is a bombshell. This would implicate the Obama administration in an absolute crime in collusion with the Clinton team. Now, it's possible that Clinton was doing this on her own, meaning she was using, make it more amicable with Obama, in which case she's talking to Obama to get Obama to make the approval. Something like that. It could be something like that. But either way, we don't know that. If he's right, this is implicating Clinton and Obama in it, saying that the approval is coming from this, I guess, some kind of degree of both. My only problem with this is the person who's getting paid in this is the Clinton Global Initiative. This is more of this money going into Clinton's back pocket. I don't see what Obama has to do with it. I don't see what Obama would have to do with it. It doesn't seem like he's getting cash out of it, at least not yet, or at least that hasn't been disclosed. But at the very least, his name has been brought up in this, his administration has been brought up in this Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, getting cash in order to make sure that the Uranium One deal, in addition to other deals, go through smoothly. The witness is running his mouth, and this is this witness's testimony after being embedded in the FBI for 6 years. That's amazing. That's amazing. This one is not going to be long. I just thought this was an absolute bombshell. I thought this was a bombshell. Comey could have indicted her and choose not to for bullshit reasons. That is true. If you look at my other video, I kind of went through this thing of showing Republicans eviscerating Comey, asking him one thing after the next. Was this a lie? Yes. Did she lie about this? Yes. Did she lie about this? Yes. Did she lie about this? Yes. And then I showed a case exactly like Hillary Clinton's, where the guy was actually prosecuted and put in prison. Comey could have put her in prison. It was bullshit reasons. This was politics. Obama, Juan Kenobi. Who are you telling, Bob? Who are you telling? John Carpenter. They have no power now. That may be true. That may be true. But should you let them off the hook with something like this? I mean, come on. Monetizing the White House and the State Department. If this was Donald Trump, you would want him put under a prison. They would want him under a prison. So, I mean, fuck, man. That's a big fucking deal. If this is true, that's all I'm saying. If this is true, this is an explosive bombshell. This is an absolute bombshell. This would implicate the Obama administration and the Clinton administration in a bribery scheme. The guy who was witness to the scheme, who say he has evidence of the scheme, made the point of, wait a minute, why aren't you going after everybody? Meaning, why aren't you also going after the Clinton Global Initiative? And the response is politics. Politics. They let that woman off the hook. That's what this boils down to. And they were getting money to, looks like, at least if he's to be believed, to allow these deals to go through. It is mind-blowing that the Uranium One deal went through. That's the mind-blowing part of this. They understood that this was a criminal enterprise, and it went through anyway. That's an amazing thing. That is an amazing thing. So, all right, I'm not going to stay long this time, Lawrence. Yeah, I get it again, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to stay long on this time. I definitely wanted to tell the story because I think the story is a bombshell. So, Whitewater. This is not Whitewater. This is the Clinton Global Initiative getting money in through one hand and granting deals on the other. That's what this looks like. That's exactly what this looks like. So, to most of the young, Clinton Mafia won't get indicted. Key players will simply die off conveniently. To most, I don't know, man. This is a Republican administration. If they're putting pressure on Jeff Sessions and if this gets out into the media, maybe. I mean, you're talking about whatever you want to think about Donald Trump. You're talking about the previous president and the previous Secretary of State potentially in a money laundering scheme or a bribery scheme. That is a massive deal. That is a massive deal. And you have an eyewitness screaming at the top of his lungs that, hey, they were in the scheme. Clintons were in the scheme. Clintons were in the scheme. They were trying to bribe Clintons. They were trying to bribe him for influence. And explicitly saying, bribery for influence. Now, in one of the other stories I did, I kind of made the point of, this looks like they were being bribed, but it's, again, it's hard to know. This guy's coming out saying, yes, they were being bribed for influence to make sure that these deals went through. That is a bombshell. That is a bombshell. Yeah, I'm putting the story at the bottom so you guys can read it, just in case my reading was slightly off. All right, guys. You guys have a good night. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe, but of course, you can always support through Patreon. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.